Ovens.
And I'm Ashley Thompson.
This is VOA News. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton. Author Salman Rushdie has been stabbed in the neck and abdomen by a man who rushed the stage as he was about to give a lecture in western New York. The 75-year-old Rushdie was bloodied and was flown to a hospital. His condition was not immediately known. His agent said he was undergoing surgery but had no other details. Police identified the attacker as Hadi Matar, age 24, of Fairview, New Jersey. He was arrested at the scene Friday and was awaiting arraignment. State police said the motive for the stabbing is unclear. A physician who was among those who rushed to help described Rushdie's wounds as serious but recoverable. Rushdie's 1988 novel The Satanic Verses resulted in Iran declaring a fatwa or a death order against him because the book was regarded by some Muslims as blasphemous. Rushdie, who was born a Muslim, spent 9 years living in hiding before cautiously resuming his public life despite a bounty on his head of more than $3 million. Rushdie remains an outspoken supporter of free expression and opponent of religious extremism. In a video statement, New York Governor Kathy Hochul says Rushdie has displayed courage.
Here's an individual who has spent decades speaking truth to power, someone who's been out there unafraid, despite the threats that have followed him his entire adult life, it seems.
That's New York Governor Kathy Hochul speaking about the author Salman Rushdie. Taiwan's foreign minister told VOA on Friday that additional foreign delegations are more than welcome in Taipei, insisting his government will not be deterred by China's furious reaction to last week's visit by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. From Washington, you're listening to VOA News. A U.S. federal judge has unsealed the search warrant that authorized the FBI's unprecedented search of Donald Trump's Florida home this week. AP correspondent Sagar Meghani has details.
Court papers show FBI agents took 11 sets of classified records from Mar-a-Lago, including documents labeled top secret. The court did not release specific details about what's in the documents, which former Justice Department official Steven Salzberg says is proper.
Because that would reveal things that people who don't have security clearances aren't supposed to see.
Trump has said the seized documents were all declassified, though that's unclear. He'd kept the documents despite multiple requests from agencies to follow federal law and hand them over. Both he and the Justice Department urged the judge to take the unusual step of unsealing the warrant. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The Democratic-led U.S. House of Representatives has approved a $430 billion bill on Friday that is seen as the biggest climate package in U.S. history. It delivers a major legislative victory for President Joe Biden ahead of the November 8th midterm elections. The legislation to fight climate change and lower prescription drug prices aims to cut domestic greenhouse gas emissions. It will also allow Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices for the elderly and ensure that corporations and the wealthy pay the taxes that they owe. Democrats say it will help combat inflation by reducing the federal deficit. An unprecedented drought is affecting nearly half of the European continent. AP correspondent Charles de Ledesma has more.
With no significant rainfall for almost 2 months in Western, Central and Southern Europe, the widespread drought is damaging farm economies, forcing water restrictions, causing wildfires and threatening aquatic species. The dry period is expected to continue in what experts say could be the worst drought in 500 years. They say climate change is exacerbating conditions as hotter temperatures speed up evaporation and thirsty plants take in more moisture. Europe, though, isn't alone in the crisis, with drought conditions also reported in East Africa, the western US and northern Mexico. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The head of Kenya's Electoral Commission says vote tallying in the country's close presidential election isn't moving fast enough. Meanwhile, parallel counting by local media dramatically slowed amid public concerns about censorship or meddling. And our top story this hour, author Salman Rushdie has been stabbed in the neck and stomach by a man who rushed the stage as Rushdie was about to give a lecture in western New York. Via remote, I'm Marissa Melton.